the supervisor for the Environmental Protection Fund for the Department of State for Central New York and Southern Tier regions. So that includes obviously Watkins Glen and the surrounding towns here. So I'm going to talk about our grant program, which is for local waterfront revitalization. So we have a program that some communities are eligible to participate in, some communities are not. I have a handout for you on that. The communities that are eligible to participate are on designated waterways. So it is a waterfront revitalization program, so therefore you need to be on a waterfront. We're looking right out at Seneca Lake, so that is one of the eligible waterways. We're in Watkins Glen, which is an eligible community. Watkins Glen is very close to finishing a local waterfront revitalization program. I'm very proud and happy that Kristen was able to help me with that. And we'll be meeting actually a little bit on that later this afternoon. The program is essentially like a comprehensive plan focused towards waterfront, and it basically ties in local activities and needs with state policies. So the program comes with some benefits. I should say that it's kind of divided between coastal areas and inland areas. So we're in an inland area because the Finger Lakes are inland waterways. So is the Erie Canal. So the Seneca Canal connecting through there also would connect you into yet further inland waterways. So essentially, those are the basic ground rules for the program. Our grants are given on the basis of how communities are participating in our program. First of all, are you eligible to apply? And second of all, are you working on a local waterfront revitalization program? You have one substantially complete, as Watkins Glen does, and it's about to be approved by the Secretary of State. If you have an approved program, then you're eligible for a higher level of funding, which includes construction. So we can fund planning, basic planning for any community. We can fund construction documentation and preparation for construction, and then we can also fund actual construction. So those are kind of the different levels of funding that are available from our program. We have typically between $10 to $20 million a year. It varies, fluctuates from year to year, because we're part of the state's Environmental Protection Fund. It's dedicated to these local waterfront revitalization programs. So each year we issue a request for applications. That time is coming up soon. It's not yet been prepared, but when it is prepared, it will be posted on the New York State Grants Gateway, and everyone will be able to find it there. All the municipalities in the state also that are eligible also get directly notification sent to them and a link to that RFA.
Do you know when you're up? Can I check the microphone? Is it? Look. All right. Let me see if I can get another one for you. Just let me go.
So, the types of activities, as I mentioned, we do fund general planning, project-specific planning, feasibility studies, marketing, and then construction projects that are used to advance activities that are in the plans.
That's 1, 2. That better? Good thing I don't know how to sing, so that's good.
I can't sing either. And I apologize for my voice. I'm actually at the tail end of a sinus infection, so. Let's see. So we have some specific grant categories. One of them is planning or implementing an LWRP, local revitalization program. Updating an LWRP to include sort of mitigation of climate risks, redeveloping hamlets, downtowns, or urban areas, planning and constructing land and water-based trails, preparing like a lake-wide or a watershed scale plan. And then last year we had a new category celebrating the bicentennial of the Erie Canal. In the past we've done implementing community resiliency strategies and sometimes building in resilience to existing plans. We've had other, I think, statewide areas of scenic significance, scenic byways. So different years we have different emphases that we'll include with our normal grant offerings. So I think I'm going to leave it at that and pass the mic over to Chris. I can tell you about, I'd like to get into a little bit more on how we evaluate the applications, what types of things are eligible for local match, some of the more kind of specifics of the grant. But I think I gave you an overview. Do you want me to get into the details now, or how do you want?
No, I'd say let's go to that at our next session.
Okay, great. Thanks for having us from the Department of State here. My name is Chris Grant. I'm with the Division of Local Government Services, as opposed to James, with the Office of Planning and Development. We kind of partner. We're actually on the same floor in the Department of State, but we do very different things. And I just want to say I'm so glad we had the chance to hear from you about why you're here and what you hope to get out of this session. I was thinking as I was sitting here listening to you that it sounds an awful lot like my own community. And I don't live in Albany. I live in a rural community. It's about an hour south of Albany. It's in Columbia County, which actually looks very much like this. You're looking out the window and it looks pretty much the same, except the lakes are much smaller. But we went through an exercise. It's been going on for 5-6 years in redeveloping our comprehensive plan, which is the plan that the community puts forward with a vision on how you want to develop, what you see as the future. And it's a very far-ranging plan, and it looks 20 years into the future, and it puts forth vision statements. What do you want to be in 20 years? How do you want to grow? What industries do you want to grow? What do you mean for residents? And I heard a lot of things here. I heard people move here because they love it here. It's beautiful. I heard small business owners, someone who owns a bed and breakfast, who's a little concerned. I heard about sewer capacity. We'll get into that in a minute. I heard from larger business owners who are trying to attract and retain jobs. And all of those things are very important for a community and are addressed in the comprehensive plan. And actually right now we're going through a process of revising our zoning to implement the comprehensive plan. And I bring all this up because a lot of the things that you're discussing are addressed through local government initiatives. It's done through the village, Washington Glens, the village of Montour Falls, and the towns around here. So I really encourage you to interact with your local government officials. We at the Department of State provide assistance to local governments. That's what we do with the Division of Local Government Services. And we provide assistance in 3 ways, really. The first is through training. We train local government officials. We have training programs on developing comprehensive plans, on revitalizing downtowns, on newer planning techniques like complete streets, how to attract new modes of transportation. I heard something about a bus service, which is very interesting. And all sorts of other land use issues. And our folks would be glad to come out here and hold training programs or informational programs on those aspects of planning. The other thing we do is we provide technical assistance. We will come out here and discuss one-on-one with local governments issues that are facing local governments and how to overcome problems, how to implement plans, and so on. And then thirdly, which is what you're here to hear, I guess, is we provide funding, provide grant funding to get initiatives off the ground, both to plan and to implement local development initiatives. So, I'll briefly go over what funding we provide. Our traditional funding is called the Local Government Efficiency Grant. You heard Jamie talk about the consolidated funding application. It's done through that. We have grants for planning. And the limit right now, I think it's $12,500 per municipality, up to a total of $100,000. It's matched 50-50. And that gets you to the point where you can implement a plan for which we have grants of up to $200,000 per municipality to implement the plans. Total $1 million in total for any single project. So it could be 5 municipalities, $200,000 each, $1 million. That pot of money is kind of limited. It's $4 million. It's a competitive grant program. It's usually oversubscribed, so we score the applications and we fund in reverse order the best applications going down until we run out of money, then it's just cut off. That being said, there are a lot of new initiatives, and it's a very exciting time actually at Department of State and for New York State in general, in that you may or may not have heard that the governor is very interested in municipal reorganization, in consolidation, but more than that, in shared services and economic development. And they're all part and parcel of the same issue. In my town, there are a lot of new businesses who want to come into the town. And I'm on the local planning board, so I see this all the time. And they come in and they would love to, we had an application for a bakery. And it came before the planning board, and it was in the hamlet. And lo and behold, what do you know, they couldn't get approval from the Department of Health for water. Everything there is on point wells, which is not great. It's a farming community, with a lot of stuff in the water. And we couldn't grant the application. So you need to understand that to develop a tourism economy, to develop, redevelop downtown, to attract residents, to attract businesses, you've got to have the infrastructure in place. Otherwise, you're going to face a situation like we faced. You can't approve an application. And then the word gets around, well, they couldn't approve the bakery, so why would I bother, even submitting an application going into the hamlet? So what's the solution? Well, obviously, something's got to be done about the water, which is a long-term infrastructure planning project. And I have to say that Watkins Glen and Schuyler County has been very proactive in this area. We're so pleased that with the assistance of Scoped, infrastructure issues are being addressed. You are getting a brand new wastewater treatment plant. From what I understand, it's costly, but it's a fantastic investment. And not only is it going to serve the village of Watkins Glen and Monterey Falls, but it'll solve some regional issues as well. It's going to serve the town of Reading and also the town of Dix, and most importantly, the Watkins Glen Speedway, which is a big consumer and user of water and, by definition, generator of wastewater. And what's been so gratifying or so positive about the whole thing is that it's being done on a regional cooperative basis. Okay, so Schuyler County or the communities involved are putting together a regional governance structure to look at wastewater flows, to manage them. It's not going to be done individual municipality by individual municipality. It's looking at the region as a whole and the needs, and getting out of that mindset where you're just looking at your own individual issues. That's what we want to see, and that's really what I feel here. This is a region. It's a part of the Greater Finger Lakes region. But you also have your own unique region here with its own tourism infrastructure. I'm sure there are a lot of second residences, as we have in Columbia County, and it takes into account all of those different constituents, which is really the way you have to go. No one community can do it on their own. You really need that cooperation. You need that sense of community and sharing. So to that vein, there are going to be some things happening over the next few years. The state budget is not out yet, but there have been rumblings about requiring counties to come up with shared services plans, which will be voted on in referendum. Quite honestly, I'm not sure how that's going to shake out in the budget, but it's there. And there's also additional funding that we have through a program called the Municipal Restructuring Fund, which encourages all of you to look at our regional perspective. By that, I mean, if a county leads a project, that's great, but multiple municipalities should be leading projects, and we will give 100% funding for those types of projects. And it could be anything. It could be infrastructure projects. It could be public safety projects, combining police forces, for example, and things of that nature. So this is gaining momentum. I really encourage all of you as business owners, as residents, and local government officials to get involved in your community and advocate for these types of initiatives. Just to be clear, the Municipal Restructuring Fund is capitalized at $25 million. What you have to do is you have to submit what's called a project charter. It just basically is a sketch of what the project is, and if approved, and we calculate an award based on aggregate savings over 10 years. And we'll give you some money up front to develop a plan, and if the plan